Well, the penultimate tie in this season's Scottish Cup 5th round, and the competition has certainly provided a fair few shocks so far, with a couple of top flight sides falling yesterday. That will serve as a warning to Rangers, while will be Partick Thistle's motivation and inspiration as they look to unsettle the holders on home turf. Rangers waited a long time to lift this trophy last May, but they're certainly not willing to give up their crown easily. Unbeaten under Michael Beale in 12 outings so far, 11 wins recorded, a Viaplay Cup final to look forward to in a fortnight. The new manager has had his influence in the transfer market too, and the mood is very positive around Ibrox. Well, John Lundstrom is out with an ankle injury for Michael Beale's side, who makes 7 changes in all to his starting 11. Once again, there's a switch in goals as Alan McGregor reclaims the gloves. James Sands and Glenn Kamara and Malik Tillman come in, while there's a first start for Nicola Raskin following his move from Standard Liège. Antonio Čolak starts ahead of Alfredo Morelos. The Croatian remains the club's top scorer, but hasn't found the net since the 29th of October. And there will be a rousing reception for Yanis Hadji, who starts for the first time in over a year after recovering from a knee injury. Ian McCall's side have slipped to back-to-back defeats in the Championship, but does welcome back Aaron Muirhead into a defence alongside Conor McAvoy, who makes just his second appearance following his loan move from Fulham. Kevin Holt joins them as they look to keep out the Rangers' attack. Lee Hodgson knows this place well, having represented Rangers between 2016 and 18. Scott Tiffany and Brian Graham form the partnership in attack. The Jags' number 9 makes his 100th appearance for the club, despite a red card against Cove Rangers last weekend. There is Yanis Hadji. It's great to see him back. He did manage 18 minutes as a sub against St Johnstone at the end of January, but a major milestone for the Romanian international is to be in the starting lineup. And there's Brian Graham, 44 goals in his 99 appearances for Partick Thistle so far. But at Glasgow Derby in round 5, as Partick Thistle make the short trip down from Maryhill and a quick hop across the Clyde to Ibrox. The Rangers put their Scottish Cup crown on the line. Here's Glenn Kamara, one of those 7 changes, another being James Sands. Conor Goldson doesn't play alongside Ben Davies. They had been forming that strong partnership at the heart of Rangers' defence. There's Jack McMillan forward to Brian Graham. Plenty of top-flight experience for Graham, and it will be an early free kick for Partick Thistle. And this, Stephen, was the area that Ian McCall and many others pinpointed, Alan Archibald as assistant. These are the opportunities to get men forward and cause Rangers problems.
Spot on, Rory, but I have to say, really good play by Kyle Turner in midfield, not sitting off Rangers, going to try and put them under pressure, trying to win the ball high, particularly in the early stages of the game. But you're right, make sure you get a good delivery when you have an opportunity to put it into the box.
Delivered in by Turner. Second ball to be picked up by Harry Milne. And there are appeals from the Partick Thistle players here. This will be being checked. Stephen Kirkland and Callum Spence, the 2 in the VAR arena.
Well, they're taking their eye off the ball because of what was happening with Harry Milne. I certainly think it's a foul. You know, Malik Tillman just wrestling with the ground. You can't be doing that. I think, fortunately for Tillman, it's just outside the box, so it will not be given as a penalty kick. But needless, I have to say, from Malik Tillman.
Well, another opportunity then for Thistle to cause a bit of mayhem in the Rangers penalty area. Long throw. It's Čolak that rises highest. Scooped into the air by Muirhead. Barisic find Yanis Hadji, but one Back by Tiffany for Graham. Combination between those two. Tiffany. But it's been a progressive start from the visitors.
Well, you know, Partick Thistle aren't here to try and entertain the Rangers fans and entertain Rangers and play to their strengths. They want to try and mix it up and make it uncomfortable. If it means long balls, straight balls over the top and playing for scraps and set plays, do that. They've got a job to do themselves, and Ian McCall clearly making some notes early on. They'll recognise that.
He did himself a bit of a disservice earlier when Emma mentioned that he was a Rangers player. He played 24 times for the club.
For the reserves, maybe that's why.
Barisic, now Hadji. Bit of movement from Cholak, but comes out to Kamara. Now Todd Cantwell, looking to pick out Tavernier. Alec Tillman. Back it comes to the American international. Barisic across. And Rangers kick up a gear. Aaron Muirhead forced into giving up the corner. Tillman takes quickly. Hadji slips it through. Tavernier. And then struck by Sands. Thistle hang on to their 0-0 scoreline. The first threat coming from the home side. Kamara. Tillman couldn't guide it past McMillan. Cleared by Jamie Snedden, but far from convincing. Rangers to just maintain that pressure.
Yeah, just a few nervous moments, wasn't it? You know, initially, Jack McMillan does well, just rolls the ball back to Jamie Snedden. Antonio Cholak doesn't know anything about it at all. Thistle can't get the ball clear, but even just going as far back as the set play, Thistle can't switch off. Rangers putting that ball down, hand on ball, and playing it quickly.
Davies. Cholak beat Turner to it, now Tavernier. And Kamara, back to Tavernier. Cholak. Sliding challenge coming in from Stuart Bannigan. Cantwell. Signing for Norwich. He was short with his pass though, but it does allow Raskan to bring it forward. Now Hadji with support coming from Barisic. Clip to the back post, and again no chances taken as Kevin Holt knocks that one out, the Partick Thistle skipper.
Yeah, they're scrambling a little bit. Partick Thistle trying to get men behind the ball, trying to stop crosses, trying to defend crosses. Rangers, as we expected, in the ascendancy in the early stages, and Thistle just want to get through this, want to ride the storm out and then try and feel themselves into the game as they progress.
They are a 3-5-2 Partick Thistle, but the more and more pressure that they come under, Jack McMillan and Harry Milne will be forced further back to defend these situations. Barisic and Tavernier venture forwards, and the decision does go the way of the visitors.
Certainly a relief for the Thistle defenders to see the goalkeeper coming off his line, making first contact, just buying a free kick. I'm not too sure there's an awful lot in it. Yeah, they catch each other slightly, but that's after he's punched the ball away. Now it'll be a case of taking a deep breath, allowing your team to get up the pitch and trying to play closer to Rangers' goal.
Second appearance here for Jamie Snedden. He doesn't have great memories of his first one, and with Cowdenbeath in 2016 conceded 5, 3 of them from Martin Waghorn. Cholak to Tillman.
Slight concern I have with the back five effectively, or even just the 3 centre halves of Partick Thistle. They don't pick anyone up. You know, it's as if they're passing on to someone else, which means you've 3 players or even 2 players sometimes doing nothing, which means you're going to suffer elsewhere in the pitch.
It was interesting yesterday, the back 3 for St Mirren, the 2 spare men would push on and pick up the midfield runners of Celtic. Here's Hadji from distance. He's looking for the perfect return to first team action. His last start was in the game where he picked up that knee injury in this competition against Stirling Albion. January last season. It's been a long, long road to recovery.
I said it in the build-up, it's an exciting time for him to be coming back. There's a new manager, there's more fluency in those front 3 or 4 positions. He wants to roam about the pitch and try and pick up space, so Michael Beale's style should suit Ianis Hadji.
It's the word from Michael Beale that this is a team looking to the future, with the likes of Sands and Raskin, Tillman, Cantwell, Hadji. Certainly, I'm sure Rangers would love to make that a permanent deal for Tillman in the summer. It's something that Bayern Munich have been in the press talking about this week, that there may yet be a future for him in Germany.
I'm sure Ianis Hadji, every time there's a tackle, he'll just be wanting to make sure he can get himself back up off the ground and making sure he's okay. You're spot on about Tillman. You know, I mentioned earlier about the profile of a player, and that's exactly the type of player they're looking for. 20 years of age. I think the fee's probably already agreed in the loan agreement, but there's lots of room for improvement, and the impression he's made for a 20-year-old at Rangers, I have to say, has been very impressive.
Back to Alan McGregor, 40 years of age, and he did get that final minute of last season's extra time against Hearts in the final. Many thought that was the end of the career, but not to be. Barisic, and just lost his bearings a little there. And Rangers, as quickly as they lost it, win it back. Raskin. Tavernier, Cholak.
And that's another difference. Partick Thistle players will recognise that when they get the ball, they don't get 3-4 seconds to lift their head and think about their pass. The Rangers players are pressing, they're hunting the ball down, so things have got to be done an awful lot quicker.
Tillman comes under a bit of pressure from Milne. Can safely find a teammate. Davies. Hadji, Raskin. Turn of pace and direction from the Belgian. Hadji now. Tavernier cushioned off the chest and now immediately looks for the run of Hadji. It was well dealt with though by Conor McAvoy.
I think Thistle will be happy for Rangers to cross balls from deep from wide. That's the reason why you have 3 centre halves, to try and cover the middle of your 6-yard box.
Now Cantwell does find Kamara. Hadji, Kamara, and Cantwell, who can be a real creative force. He just lost his way slightly in his hometown club. Now Tillman. Sands forward. Cholak. Raskin. Now Sands. Bundled over. Rangers go on. And Tavernier will accept the corner, but this one may well be looked at as James Sands looks a little bewildered.
Yeah, Brian Graham, I think he just barges into the back of Sands, doesn't he? He does have to be careful. That will certainly be on the mind of the referee from now on in. If you're going to make an impression on a player, make it when the ball's around. Don't make it as obvious as what it was.
Borna Barisic with the in-swinger. Rangers again appeal. The ball will come back into the middle from Barisic. And Partick Thistle will be relieved as the free kick goes their way.
Yeah, Thistle making it hard for themselves in set plays. I think it's Sands again going down appealing for a foul. Yet again, it's just a coming together from the players. It's Muirhead who makes contact with the ball. Kevin Holt's in there as well, but Kyle Turner on the edge of the box. The ball drops. He does really well to get in amongst it, in beside Ben Davies. Just win a free kick for his side, and once again allow Snedden to put the ball deep into the Rangers half.
Snedden finds Graham, but he couldn't help it on to Tiffany. It does give certainly pace as an option alongside Graham. It's read by Tavernier though. One back by Tiffany. Now Milne. And that gets a round of applause from the Partick Thistle supporters, 2,800 of whom are at Ibrox Stadium. The offside flag will go up to end that attack.
Better from Thistle though. You know, I did ask Ian McCall the question about having good footballers in the side, but they do have to spend time in possession. Lee Hodgson, really unusual position to find him as a holding midfield player, to find himself wide on the left-hand side, but he needs his players to be brave. Ian McCall, he needs them to take the ball when it's possible. You can't just keep turning over possession.
Barisic can't get that under his control.
I suppose this is the effect of making so many changes for Michael Beale. That usually a little bit of fluency within your system and your setup. Players trying to find their feet, playing together for the first time, trying to be on the same wavelength, which may just play into the hands of Partick Thistle.
Particularly in those three creative positions behind Antonio Cholak, well, the players will be given a degree of freedom to go and do what they do best. Here's Graham looking to get in on the end of the long ball. Sands was quick to step in.
And I said earlier on about Brian Graham doesn't have the pace to stretch the game in behind, but what he will do, he'll still run. He's a real willing runner, will chase things down, which is why the likes of Jack McMillan and Harry Millen, when the opportunities arise, put it down the side.
Cole McKinnon available to Ian McCall against his parent club this afternoon. They also had Tony Weston on loan in the opening half of the season, but he's now away up to Cove Rangers, despite scoring in round 3 against Kelty Heart. This is Hadji going to motor backwards.
Yeah, this is when Thistle have to squeeze. When the ball goes back towards Alan McGregor, midfield players, back 5, get yourself up the pitch as much as you can, condense the space that Rangers have to play in.
It's risk and reward, isn't it? It's probably a difficult mentality to get into, when you would think the initial message from Ian McCall will be to protect things when it is 0-0. Here's Tillman looking to exploit some space for Rangers. Tillman with the cutback. Couldn't quite find Hadji. Graham likewise can send that into the middle of the park, where Raskamp is completely free to do what he likes. Tavernier, it's a good stretch from Muirhead. He had to be really careful and aware of just what his hands were doing there. Got them out of the way in the nick of time. Turner, good pick out for McMillan, and this is where the wing-backs are allowed to drive forward. McMillan, it takes a touch. Sands is there, McMillan will pick up again. Raskat finds Cantwell. Rangers look to break. Cantwell blocked off by McAvoy, a legal challenge from the Scotland under-21s defender. Now Tiffany can't drive it past Davies, but that's when the game opens up. Partick Thistle fancy their chances attacking there.
Well, I have to say it's been a good watch so far. You know, the fear was that Thistle would come with the back five, camp in, sit on the edge of the box and try and bow their way through the game, but they're not. McMillan loves getting forward on the right hand side. Kerner, excellent energy, but just shows you once again Brian Graham, when the ball comes in, it's got to stick. But then there's a responsibility in the midfield players to go and close that gap, go and support, try and get the team up the pitch.
To Aaron Muirhead to take the throw in. Twice a winner with Falkirk against Rangers, 2015-16. Long delivery will be cleared back out towards Muirhead. Turner robbed by Cantwell. Little nutmeg from the midfielder too, and he finds Cholak. Last man back is McMillan, but Partick Thistle get numbers back to help him out. Still on though for Hadji. And Barisic with the delivery, and it's Kevin Holt who concedes the corner as Rangers go from one end to the other.
That's exactly what Rangers are wanting. They're wanting to draw Thistle out as much as they possibly can, because they know certainly in this left hand side Borna Barisic has been a busy man. He's been up and down, he's had a few crosses into the box, but once again just show him why you play three centre halves. Kevin Holt wins the ball in the middle of the 6-yard box.
Change of taker, it will be Tavernier this time. Right into the heart of that 6-yard area. Over the top it goes. Davies in amongst the jumpers.
You mentioned earlier about Todd Cantwell. He's got that little bit of creation in his play. He's inventive in the final third. Lovely little nutmeg, probably too close to his own goal. Would probably rather be at the other end of the pitch, but certainly if he can get himself into dangerous areas, he's got a little bit of magic.
He was on loan at Bournemouth last season when suffered a shock FA Cup exit at the hands of non-league Boreham Wood. Forward it goes from Milne. Rangers have the throw in on the far side. Sands. Tillman. Quickly taken by Tavernier for Cholak. Now Kamara. And Hadji. Drop of the shoulder, but he can't get away from McAvoy.
That pass has got to be right. The one thing Scott Tiffany has is blister and pace. So when McAvoy wins the ball, he's got to make sure that first pass reaches its target. Otherwise, Thistle are going to come back under more pressure. That was an outball opportunity.
Muirhead utilises Jamie Snedden. Challenge there coming from Tiffany. Play on, says David Munro.
I think it's fair to say Thistle have got the balance right so far, haven't they? You know that Harry Millen, the left wing back, and Jack McMillan, the right wing back, at times they've sat back, they've pushed forward, they've got the timing right so far. Ian McCall says they can fluctuate between a 4 and a 5, but certainly the 5's working at the minute.
Sands sent it behind where Cantwell wanted. Bannigan won't be able to quite catch up with Milne's ball back. Tillman. Kamara. Tavernier outside him, but he ventures to try and release Cholak, who was on the move. Cantwell now. A little loose from him. Sands drops it down for Raskat. Tiffany did well. Picks up the free kick too.
I have to say, out of possession, Thistle are being brave at times, because Scott Tiffany, it's easy for him to want to drop back and go and pick up Raskan, but he's not. He's staying up the pitch, and that's the reason why, because when they throw it forward and Brian Graham knocks the ball down, or centre half knocks it down, he can pick up the second balls. He's close to Brian Graham, and Graham's not isolated.
Holt. He slides in, and he's down in the penalty area.
It's going to be an interesting one, because if he makes contact with the ball first and Malik Tillman kicks his foot or his heel or his studs of his boot, then the referee will have a decision to make or VAR, but it'll be interesting to see it back.
Partick Thistle quite intent to play on, and Graham had a hold of Borna Barisic, and well, it's almost Valentine's Day.
I almost feel like giving you a hug, Roy, after watching that. Yeah, I think it was Aaron Muirhead, wasn't it? He won the ball in the box just when it drops down. Possibly looks as if both players have made contact with the ball at the same time. Yes, he's holding his leg and holding his foot, Aaron Muirhead, but no wrongdoing. Watching Raskan play and the position he plays and how deep he wants to sit as a holding midfield player and dictate proceedings. Michael Beale's got a few decisions in the summer when you think of John Lundstrom and Ryan Jack in that area as well, Roy.
Forward from Muirhead, but that one drifts straight out of play. Back at the club, Ian McCall, manager for 4 years, and reappointed in 2019, replacing Gary Caldwell. And the summer will certainly be very interesting for Michael Beale. Still a number of very important players with contracts coming to an end as things stand.
He's got decisions all over the pitch. I mean, we spoke about the goalkeeper ahead of it, but centre half, centre midfield players, forward players, who's signing, who's going. So really a lot of work to do.
Here is Davies. Now Cholak, Tavernier. Cholak, Cantwell, Hadji's in the middle. Oh, and he guides it just wide. Managed to find the space well, but couldn't find the target.
Yeah, I think it's Aaron Muirhead that gets himself caught under the ball, but it's good movement from Yanis Hadji. Goes short, just uses his left arm just to give himself a yard of space. I think when he sees it back, he may be disappointed with the finish on it. He's trying to glance it on, possibly just head it back into the other corner, back to where it came from. The fact that he's getting into those positions in and around the 18-yard box will certainly please him.
Raskin's header, but it's Conor McAvoy that can find McMillan. Now Tiffany on the move again. Graham in the middle. Turner arriving. Still Tiffany twisting and turning. McMillan might fancy a shot here. Tiffany, flag stays down and rifles one in, but over the top of Alan McGregor's goal.
He's a little live wire, isn't he? Scott Tiffany, and he wants to be in wide areas. He wants to be 1v1 against defenders, get into the 18-yard box. And Borna Barisic was a little bit uncomfortable. He moves the ball very quickly, Tiffany. He's back to him again after Jack McMillan's shot, and once again he's prepared to try and make something happen. McGregor had to make sure it went over the bar, but good inventive play by Thistle.
McMillan's free kick under Cantwell's challenge. He wasn't happy about the decision. Demonstrating with Chris Graham, the fourth official.
When you see Thistle playing the way they are just now, Rory, in this arena, they're getting on the ball, they're trying to get men forward. It does make you wonder how they can slip up against bottom of the table Hamilton and Cove Rangers in the Championship, almost ruling themselves out of automatic promotion, which will be a huge frustration to the large travelling support as well as Ian McCall. So clearly underachieved at times.
They had a great start to the season. They were leading the Championship before a run of 5 defeats in October, November, dropped them all the way down to 7th. They've recovered that until those back-to-back defeats of late. a bit of a stop-start season, mid-table, 10 points off the leaders. One of the stories of the season, one of the stories of modern times in Scottish football. Queen's Park leading the way in the championship. Here's Bannigan, such a good servant to this club.
I think it's his testimonial season, isn't it, Stuart Bannigan? Been around for a long time, had a couple of serious knee injuries, but once again they're trying to look for Scott Tiffany.
Here's Tillman. Cholak looking for space in the middle. Cantwell arriving now. Can't force it past Muirhead though. Now McMillan. Give that straight back to Kamara. Tillman now. Touch in from Turner. Tiffany helps it back to the midfield. Now Bannigan and Hodgson. Partick Thistle look after the ball well.
Yeah, they've been really tenacious, you've got to say. You know, sometimes it's easy to come here as a team and sit off and sit back and not make contact with the Rangers players, but absolutely not. When the opportunity's on to go and press and get into the personal space of the Rangers players, Thistle and Ian McCall's players quite prepared to do it.
Ball forward, didn't connect with one of the strikers, but it does pin Rangers back into the near side corner flag. Forcing Cantwell and Tillman and Cholak all to drop deep, try and provide an option for Borna Barisic. Tillman has been robbed by Turner, and that will be a Partick Thistle free kick, just 5 yards outside the box.
I have to say, initially from Malik Tillman, just a little bit loose, but just look at Kyle Turner. I've watched him over the last number of years. Very similar. I watched him when he was at Dunfermline, I watched him at Thistle. Infectious midfield player with lots of energy. And once again, because of his pressing and his willingness to go and do the hard yards, he wins the side a free kick in a dangerous area.
Turner over it. Left foot, right foot option. It suits the skipper, Kevin Holt, a little better. It's Turner. Oh, and it's a low one that Alan McGregor claws out. Best chance of the game, it falls to Partick Thistle and Kyle Turner's effort.
Well, McGregor had to move, I've got to say. I even just thought with his run-up, I just thought he was going to go over the ball and allow Kevin Holt to go and hit it. Luckily, Alan McGregor didn't think the same. He had to move quickly. Thistle have really imposed themselves in this game.
Turner now takes the corner kick, and arriving at the back post was Holt. Again, the appeals go up from the Partick Thistle players, but they've still got an interest in this attack. They're putting up a real fight. The championship side. Graham tries to get turned. Now hit. Oh, what a save from Alan McGregor. Partick Thistle threatened again, and Scott Tiffany denied by the veteran goalkeeper. Tillman. McMillan now wins it back.
They really are on the front foot, Partick Thistle, you've got to say. I mean, we will get back to that save from Alan McGregor, which was absolutely stunning. Well, Scott Tiffany will think, could he possibly have done a little bit better? Could he have put it a little bit lower? But Thistle really cranking up the pressure.
Harry Milne now gives it away. They certainly haven't looked leagues apart in the opening half hour here at Ibrox Stadium. Now Hadji. And it was interesting during all that, Kyle Turner realising the excitement amongst his players, realising that to ask for calm. VAR are having a look.
Yeah, this is Brian Graham just keeping the ball alive really well, and forced to Tiffany because McGregor, wow. Antonio Cholak's arm, but he's not even looking in the direction of it. The ball's headed onto his arm. I'm not sure there's an awful lot he can do about it. I'd be very surprised if there's anything more in this.
Well, this is going to be reviewed on the field by David Munro. That is the recommendation of Stephen Kirkland. Huge moment here. Your initial thoughts are no penalty.
Well, that was my initial thought, because he's not even looking at the ball. The ball's come over his head. He's actually still in mid-air. He's only on one leg. How do you balance? You don't balance with your hand at your side. You need some sort of leverage from your arms to give you balance. And the ball has travelled, what, half a yard, of even that, onto his hand. So I mean, the freeze frame, you can put pictures and you can paint it whatever way you want. I just don't think that can be a penalty kick. I know there's been lots of giving over the last number of weeks, but I think this is going to be very harsh if it's a penalty, and he's given it.
It is a penalty kick for Partick Thistle. Antonio Cholak penalised. I have to be honest, there's nothing he could do about it.
Which is what the officials have to take into consideration. He's coming down from being in the air 2 feet off the ground. When he lands, he needs some sort of balance because he lands on one arm. You know, referees have to be big enough. If they look at it themselves and don't think it's a penalty kick, then why do they agree with the VAR official? From Thistle will be absolutely delighted, of course they will, but it seems very, very harsh.
VAR making the headlines again. It's Kevin Holt, the Partick Thistle captain. Holt with a bolt past Alan McGregor. Championship Partick Thistle lead the Scottish Cup holders at Ibrox Stadium, and that is the moment that those almost 3,000 Partick Thistle fans came for. There's delirium in the corner of the away end at Ibrox.
Well, the officials may not have composure, but certainly Kevin Holt has composure. It's a wonderful finish. He knows how important it is to get the first goal. Sends Alan McGregor the wrong way, and Thistle have been so good in the last 5 or 10 minutes. I still can't understand what Antonio Cholak is supposed to do with that. Maybe someone will explain it someday, but Thistle don't care. Unlikely after 2 poor recent results, but wow, we've got a game on here.
Oh, will it be the wake-up call for Rangers, or will it be just the further inspiration that Partick Thistle were looking for? They've now got something to protect. It's Kamara forward to Cantwell. This will be a test of Rangers' character. There's no doubt about that. Cantwell out to Barisic. And Kamara. And that clock won't be moving quickly enough for Ian McCall, as he'll already be thinking half-time, won't he?
He will be, but Michael Beale and his players have got to think the tempo has to go up a little bit more. It has to go up a notch. It's too passive, too many touches, too slow, allowing Thistle to get back behind the ball. But you're spot on. The Thistle players and manager will certainly be looking towards the clock.
Rangers have the free kick now. You have to say, that came at the end of a spell where Partick Thistle had been the dominant side. Absolutely. You know, that's when they had their best spell. You know, you mentioned there about possibly something to hold on to and defend. I think that's very dangerous. I think these players have shown they're better than that. They're more than capable of going and chasing down another one. Barisic and Hadji over the free kick. It is the Croatian, delivered into the middle. Up goes Hodgson, so too Turner. Now Kamara. And Borna Barisic. Hadji skips away from Graham. Now the delivery was a dangerous one, but really well defended. Deep in his own box. There's Turner striding. He's bossed that middle of the park at times. The Partick Thistle, number 6.
Yeah, he's been excellent, Kyle Turner, he really has. And I think, in the opening minute or so of the game, when he won that free kick in the middle of the pitch, set the tone for this team.
Muirhead. Now Holt, Partick Thistle goal scorer. Now McMillan, released by McAvoy. Tiffany now shows, looks to take it away and does so from Borna Barisic. Here's Tiffany, trying to wind and turn Raskin in knots, but the Belgian midfielder remained calm when Tiffany really fancied going into the Rangers box and causing more problems.
Get a chance to cross it, Rory, with his left foot, and he decided to try and beat Borna Barisic again. I'm sure Brian Graham will be giving him an earful because he was in a good position at the back post. But listen, Thistle are enjoying the occasion, they're enjoying the game. It certainly hasn't fazed him. The onus is now on Rangers to try and wrestle it back in their favour.
Raskin up to Cantwell. Davies. It's Holt. For Turner. Harry Milne. Not one that the 35-year-old legs of Brian Graham fancies the chase on.
It just seems a lack of urgency from Rangers. You know, I said it when I spoke to Alan and Marvin before the game, that you have to guard against complacency. You can't expect to just turn up and roll the opposition over without putting the effort in, the hard yards and the quality that you've got. Rangers haven't delivered that so far.
Cantwell. Hodgson was in tight on him. McAvoy. Final 5 minutes of the first half. It's been a hugely impressive 40-minute showing from Ian McCall's side so far.
You know, this is it in real time for the referee. And, you know, you just look at Antonio Cholak. He's got the free roll. He's the zone man. Now, he's coming down after going for the challenge, and you know, the ball's headed onto his arm from, I said half a yard, maybe being slightly closer, but yeah, I'm not sure there's an awful lot he can do. It just seems to be if the ball hits a hand, irrespective whether you mean it or not, or your natural, unnatural, your physical movement, it's a penalty.
Cholak turns well, good sliding challenge though from Conor McAvoy. Tiffany can't quite get turned and into a stride. It was good positioning from Sands. Raskin, Tillman, Holt with the blocking challenge. Barisic, Kamara, given away by the Finnish international.
Thistle have certainly rocked Rangers, haven't they? And they've got the crowd exactly where they want them. They're a little bit anxious, they're frustrated. That's going on to the pitch, to the players, and Michael Beale in the past hasn't been slow to make substitutions, so he may have to impact it at half-time.
Tillman. Well, went back to try and beat Bannigan. Raskin. Laid off by Kamara. Now Hadji. And Cantwell. Tillman now. Oh, it's great footwork from Malik Tillman. Couldn't quite deliver the telling ball into the middle though. Cantwell. Kamara. And well read by Milne. Every moment that goes their way cheered by the support in the corner.
just a shout came from behind us and it said speed it up. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's too slow and pedestrian from Rangers. They've got to try and force the issue a little bit more.
Raskan, the return from Hadji, and the foul comes from a former Standard Liège player.
Michael Beale said ahead of the game, this is an eye on the future, this is a view for the future for Rangers fans. Well, I think certainly they'll hope it's an awful lot better than what it's been in the opening 43 minutes. They can feel a little bit unjustified with the goal going against them, but I just think in general play, as the goalkeeper had a save, Jamie Sneddon, I don't think anything of note that has really broke this Partick Thistle back five, so work to do.
Graham to challenge with Davies, and the yellow card will come out for the striker. Sent off last week against Cove Rangers for dissent, and first man in the book this afternoon.
I did say earlier on with that barge off the ball that the referee would have his eye on him, he would just keep him in check. You can see it. I don't think he actually throws an arm or an elbow, does he? It's the fact that he's looking for him and the ball's in the air. I think Ben Davies goes down a little bit easy. He can find himself a little bit hard done by Brian Graham, but now he's on the edge and has to be careful.
Tavernier, final minute of normal time in the first half. Raskan, Cantwell. Tavernier had already started making his move. It's well read by Milne and fouled. And the frustrations continue for Rangers. Partick Thistle are doing all their jobs very well. As you mentioned, Jamie Sneddon hasn't had a save to make, whereas Alan McGregor has.
I mean, that just summed it up with Harry Milne, just the anticipation of the Thistle players, just to nick balls, just to win it, to always be in the ascendancy moving forward as opposed to taking a step back. Ian McCall will be delighted with the opening 45 minutes if they can get into half-time 1-0 up.
Graham wins it, heads it into an area that was being patrolled by Raskan. 2 additional minutes starting now. Raskan, Cantwell trying to run in behind, controls it off his back. Cantwell tries to skip by Milne, no free kick forthcoming that the 40,000 or so home fans were hoping for. Cholak, there was a slip by McAvoy, but Rangers can't profit.
It's a final pass, isn't it? You know, when Rangers play one-touch football, Thistle struggle to keep up. Then it's about the weight of pass of Yanis Hadji. I just think this frustration around Todd Cantwell not getting the free kick, there's clearly nothing in it. You know, I think the referee and the assistant have made a good decision. I think the frustration for the Rangers fans, yes, it's going towards a ref, but it's probably about Rangers' first half performance and below the level they expect.
First major barrier is a minute away for Ian McCall's side. Tiffany gets there ahead of Barisic. And a wrap on the ankles.
Again, just epitomises Thistle in this first half. They've been sharper. They've been first to the ball. Borna Barisic missed times the tackle, but Tiffany and Kyle Turner have been the 2 standout players for Thistle. They've really been the driving force.
Turner will take this as Partick Thistle have eyes on a second before half-time, but it didn't work out that way. In the final seconds look to tick away in this first half. There's been a season of surprises in the Scottish Cup, and Ian McCall's Partick Thistle are 45 minutes away from a major shock. Kevin Holt's penalty kick awarded by David Munro after the VAR review on recommendation from Stephen Kirkland, tucked away by the Thistle skipper, and at the break at Ibrox Stadium it is Rangers 0, Partick Thistle 1. very much, Emma. And the half-time reaction from Michael Beale that he hopes his words and his changes will transfer onto the pitch, with Ryan Kent replacing Yanis Hadji and Kemar Roof coming on for Todd Cantwell. But it's Championship Partick Thistle that lead in the Scottish Cup thanks to Kevin Holt's goal, looking for the first win for the Jags here since October 1981. The scorer on that day, young Maurice Johnson, who went on to make a few headlines thereafter in his career. Partick Thistle back underway in the second half, and it really will have been the perfect 45 minutes for Ian McCall. They're now looking to replicate it, but Rangers will throw everything at keeping their Scottish Cup hopes alive and avoiding what would be an almighty shock.
Yeah, and as much as Rangers and Michael Beale will want to up the tempo and trying to get themselves back into the game, for Thistle, if they can just manoeuvre their way through the next 15 minutes, really see the reaction of this home crowd and how it reacts to players, how it affects the players, then maybe start to think about, you said it, winning this game.
Sands up to Roof, and down goes Raska. Sands back to Nicola Raska. Well read by Muirhead. Graham looks for the pace of Tiffany. Alan McGregor called from his line.
It's the ideal scenario, isn't it, for Scott Tiffany on the last defender, and lots of grass to run into. Rangers have to be careful. He can't be left isolated 1v1 for one long ball over the top.
Raska. Tavernier, curling delivery, then comes off McAvoy. Out for the corner kick, and that draws some encouragement from the Rangers support.
Yeah, it's like most of the Partick Thistle players. Young McAvoy had a really strong game this afternoon. Will do him a world of good experience-wise. Excellent positioning.
Borna Barisic ready to deliver. As the back post, Roof was looking to peel away, couldn't connect.
You can see what Rangers are trying to do in that set play. Everybody's running in towards the goalkeeper, trying to distract the Thistle defenders, and Kemar Roof's trying to come off the goalkeeper and get the little flick on it. Just a little bit too high for him.
Graham the target for Snedden. It's won by Sands though. It's Holt just to hammer it downfield. Tiffany to be a nuisance to the Rangers defence. Now Ryan Kent for the first time off the bench slips it through to Kemar Roof. McAvoy was closing in, but Roof was put off his stride enough to send it wide.
Yeah, the part that Ryan Kent plays in this is absolutely top class. He picks up a lovely little position just in behind Kemar Roof, but once he does, he needs people charging ahead of him. He needs people going beyond. Kemar Roof really should be scoring from there. I mean, when you see it back, it's not even close, but almost an instant impact with the two substitutes.
Well, Antonio Cholak was calling for the ball in the middle as well. Roof backed himself, couldn't hit the target. Tiffany gives it away to Tillman. Nice balance from Tillman. Finds Roof. Bannigan. Now Raska. Here's Davies. Raska. Tavernier, low ball back to Nicola Raska. Looks through the back post for Antonio Čolak. It's exactly the start to the second half the Rangers needed. Čolak starts the rescue mission, and it's 1-1.
And it's excellent play by Raskin in the box. You know, Thistle don't get the ball away. He keeps it alive. It's a perfect cross. He digs it out. It's the first time young McAvoy gets caught onto the ball. His shoulders are closed. He's no idea where Čolak is. And that's what you call experience. A top-class striker. He knows how to work his business in the 18-yard box. He's aware the young man's close to shoulders, just peels off and uses his power. Knocks it into the back of the net. And Rangers get the equaliser.
Tavernier is capable of that one back to Alan McGregor. It's 15 goals for the season for Čolak, but that the first since the end of October here against Aberdeen. The goal he needed. He's seen himself fall out of the starting lineup with the return of Alfredo Morelos. Here goes Graham though. Now looks to slip in Milne, and it's just too far in front of him.
I thought he was going to shoot Brian Graham. I thought he was trying to create the space for himself, but once again, Thistle not just wanting to sit back, quite happy to get men forward.
Kent dispossessed. Turner for Tiffany. He had one man to beat in Sands. It was well timed by the American. Now Tillman releases Roof. Čolak makes his move. Antonio Čolak this time. It's straight at Sneddon. Rangers go from one end to the other, and the yellow card is flashed as well. Maybe in a couple, in fact.
It's been a brilliant game, it really has. That equaliser from Rangers has really opened it up. Good save by Sneddon, I've got to say, but that's what Rangers want. They want an open game. They want to draw Partick Thistle out, and they want to try and catch them, use the speed and the pace that they have.
Well, Harry Milne and Kyle Turner, both yellow carded. Barisic floated one. Ben Davies couldn't impact. That one is sliced.
You have to say it can be a risk when you come to the bigger stadiums in Glasgow and go toe-to-toe, because you can get mauled, but Partick Thistle have shown no fear whatsoever. They don't care. They're well in this game, and they've showed lots of endeavour.
Kamara, Raska. Now Kent. Roof won't catch that one.
Yeah, I think that's what the booking was for from Harry Millen, but just the reaction of Malik Tillman on the ground. He really can't be kicking out. That could easily go to VAR and could go against them.
Sands helping it back to Davies. Tavernier, a bit too much on it from Raska. Time for Alfredo Morelos to have his influence on this tie. The man holding the centre forward position has done just that in getting Rangers level. One back by Barisic. Čolak couldn't quite get there ahead of Holt. Turner forward for Tiffany. Now looks for Graham. Sands in control.
It's so open, isn't it? It really is. There's lots of space for the players to play in and work their magic.
Tillman may just have found some valuable space here. Can he pick out the right cross? Comes all the way to Tavernier. Goes for the spectacular volley. Couldn't quite control.
Didn't think he was set for that, Rory. Just the way the ball was bouncing to him, it always needed a first touch to get out of his feet. He was ambitious, going with the outside of his right foot, and ended up over the crossbar.
There will be a sigh of relief from Michael Beale getting that equaliser. There's still plenty to play for. Graham, Tiffany couldn't quite take it with him. Čolak, and Muirhead did feel the push on his back. It was spotted by David Munro.
It's good from Aaron Muirhead, just steps in front of Antonio Čolak. It's usually the other way around, isn't it? It's usually the centre half pushing the centre forward.
Milne kept it in well. Barisic, firm-headed clearance up to Roof. Tillman. Raskin, back it goes to the Bayern Munich loanee. Roof. Didn't get it first time, but recovered the situation. Raskin. Kent is there. He couldn't get the connection to turn it back in the way of Antonio Čolak, who was waiting for a tap-in.
Do you know what I like about it? When the ball goes to Raskin, they can easily move the ball under Kamara and keep it simple. But no, he's wanting to play a penetrating ball in behind the opposition back line, and Ryan Kent really should do an awful lot better. He should make better contact with it, but that's just a little insight to Raskin and his thinking, how he wants to play. Doesn't just want to tick the ball over, he wants to try and pierce the opposition.
Tiffany does enough to hold off Sands. Here goes Graham from distance. Oh, and it just wouldn't dip that extra foot. McGregor was stranded off his line.
I said I thought he was going to have a shot earlier in the game, and he didn't. Well, he certainly changed his mind this time. McGregor was beating all hands up, no doubt about it. That was a great strike.
Roof comes off Holt last. And Tavernier. Kent. Tavernier. Roof looks for the return to his captain. It's Muirhead who can start the recovery for Partick Thistle. Graham goes down. No free kick coming his way. Kent from the right-hand side chops back onto his left foot for the delivery. It's Holt, the diving headed clearance. Čolak, good pick out for Raskin. Thought about the shot, most in the ground were fancying it. It's a year since he did score a goal. Graham, Turner combine, and the striker wins the battle.
You just wonder, with the intensity in this game and the legwork that Thistle have went through, how long they can keep it up. You know, it's all about concentration as well. Ian McCall will be fully aware of that. I'm sure he'll be looking at substitutions, because you've got to keep the energy in the team, because they've been absolutely terrific this afternoon. They've really stood up to the challenge. They haven't rolled over. Made it really difficult for Rangers, but showed their quality when it's possible.
Rangers have already shown their quality off the bench, has re-energised them in the second half. Raskin, Čolak, Kent, does have a lot more freedom under Michael Beale to drift off the flank. He always wants to chop inside on that right foot as Kent deflected, cries of handball. Header from Roof goes straight into the arms of Snedden.
Yeah, when he gets the ball, Ryan Kent, you just always think something's going to happen. He can change direction ever so quickly. It possibly does hit Lee Hodgson's arm. I don't know if he's bringing his arm back into his body and then hits it when it's close to his body, but certainly it struck his arm.
Davies up to Kent, looks to turn away from McAvoy, who's penalised.
He's got too tight, it's as simple as that. He's gone too tight to Ryan Kent, he just shifts the ball around the corner. McAvoy can't turn as quick as what Kent can do, so puts his arm out to try and block his run.
Tell you what, we've had an hour of a great cup tie. Not what many would have expected arriving at Ibrox this afternoon.
Does the quick movement from Kent, just puts his arm across his face. You're right, Roy, I think a lot of people turned up and just expected Rangers just to coast home and win this game comfortably.
Rascal, Roof, Tillman, Tavernier. Great ball from Tavernier, and well, it was well read by Snedden, because if he didn't go in and claim that, Roof would have knocked it into the empty net.
Such a tantalising ball as well. The Thistle defenders give up. You know, Kemar Roof shouldn't be allowed that room inside the 18-yard box. But luckily for them, Snedden anticipated it really well.
Millen, Kamara, Graham will rise, and again. Actually, Tavernier can get it back under Rangers' control.
I mean, I talk about people arriving here this afternoon expecting a home win. I think the Partick Thistle fans thought the same after their recent performances, so they will have been pleasantly surprised by their team's application this afternoon.
Well, head injury for Aaron Muirhead to be dealt with.
I think it's just two players going for the ball, isn't it? There's no stray arms or elbows. I wasn't sure if it was possibly the way that he landed. It may have caught him a little bit.
Just under 45,000 inside Ibrox Stadium. But suddenly boosted by a very healthy away support.
Do you know, it's the one thing you can say about Thistle. I was there for 3 years, many years ago, and you know, their travelling support, the noise, everything they bring. They love their club, and they've been a yo-yo club. They've been up and down the divisions over the past 10-12 years, but they always stick through their team through thick and thin. And terrific turnout this afternoon.
2018, the last time they were in the top flight, relegated as in the playoffs. Livingston making their way up. They've made such a great impact in the Premiership. Here's Roof. That actually came off the back of finishing 6th the previous season for Thistle under Alan Archibald. He's now an assistant to Ian McCall. Loose touch from Tillman, but he did recover it. Tillman gets around Bannigan, and the penalty is awarded. Bannigan protests his innocence, but Tillman, who's had quite an influence over proceedings in this second half, of course it will be looked at, but Tillman goes down under the challenge of Bannigan, and David Munro's decision is penalty.
I think Bannigan's thinking it's outside the box. Is there contact? I think the contact looks like it starts outside the box. If there is there. That's the first contact, which is about 3 yards outside the box. You see Bannigan's right foot just catches the left heel of Tillman. He takes another step. So if you're going from the first contact, this penalty should be ruled out and a free kick given. But Tillman, again, you see him in those wide areas in 1v1 situations. He moves ever so just a contact, and it continues. His fall is into the box. You would imagine this will go to review, or whether he'll just be told that the contact is outside the box. I would imagine.
Well, being looked at long and hard. Stuart Bannigan certainly making his case known to David Munro, who And the penalty is awarded.
There must be a secondary contact from Bannigan in an angle that we haven't managed to have a look at, because certainly it was the right foot of Bannigan. You see his right foot there.
Well, interestingly, Stephen, we can hear the VAR chatting to David Munro. They've just thought about a further delay, but and now the check is complete. Tavernier can take the penalty. Tavernier against Snedden. Major moment at Ibrox Stadium, and it's Snedden that saves. Tavernier goes straight down the middle. Snedden didn't move. And again, there is going to be a further delay. But a short one this time. It is complete.
I have to say, it's brave from the goalkeeper to stand still. You know, James Tavernier, you look at his penalties over the years, have been all over the goal. He has been down the middle on the odd occasion, but it's brave from Snedden and it's paid off.
In from Barisic, attacked at the back post by Ben Davies. Well, Thistle will be very happy to survive the last few minutes, and it's still all square, and a change to be made, and Anton Dowds will be coming on up front for Partick Thistle.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like for like. And here's the foul from Bannigan again. I mean, I'm trying to see if his right hand is actually holding the left hand of Tillman, but there's the penalty save again. Brilliant from Snedden, brave, and I have to say, Brian Graham's led the line really well this afternoon. Even though he had the yellow card, he didn't do anything stupid like he did last week and get himself sent off, and this will be like for like. Anton Dowds is a runner, he's strong, he's physical, he will chase in behind. Just give Thistle another dimension.
Played in the League Cup for both East Fife and Falkirk against Rangers before making the move from Falkirk in the summer to Partick Thistle. Last goal coming in round 3 against Kelty Hearts.
Just when we thought this game couldn't get any more dramatic, Rory, it's been a brilliant watch this afternoon. It really has. Two teams really going at it.
Now Dowds. Handful for Davies, but it will be a Rangers throw. It's certainly been an enjoyable 3/4 of the game for those Partick Thistle supporters. Short trip from Firhill for them.
And a large majority will never have watched their club beat Rangers, you know, so it could be a history-making day for the supporters. It certainly brought plenty of colour and plenty of noise. They always do.
I make a wild suggestion that none were at the time that they last beat them in the Scottish Cup either. The 1921 final at Celtic Park. And Thistle won it for the first time 1-0 thanks to John Blair. Comes to Tiffany. Turner ahead of him. He's had a quieter second half. The game's had a different role though, and looked for Dowds to make the move across the defender. Rangers now bringing pace to the game. Tillman. Kent out to the left. Draws McAvoy out there. Kent driving into the box, twisting away, getting the shot off. Tavernier now sets up. Tillman. Bannigan can knock it clear. Partick Thistle got the bodies back.
Yeah, that's what you've got to give them lots of credit for. They're getting men behind the ball. Yes, they're chasing the game forward, but they're quite prepared to do the hard yards defensively, helping each other out, doubling up when you have to. Really backs to the wall at times, but they've certainly stuck to their task.
Roof and Holt got tight to him. Tillman again. He did well, but he has picked up an injury in the process. Malik Tillman. Challenge came in from Harry Milne, I think.
stands on his foot when his foot's on the ground. You know, would it be serious foul play? Do you think it's equivalent to a red card? Well, he stands on his ankle. The ball has gone away, so the referee may be asked to go and have a look at this, whether they can determine the force or the intent, which is hard to. Certainly, there's an ongoing review. Because he's not getting the ball, Harry Millen. Ball goes away. You would probably think that would be a yellow card, but because the game can't be re-refereed, then he can't get a yellow card.
Oh, mistake from Holt. Tillman, clean through, round the goalkeeper, and can finish. And Partick Thistle are absolutely furious, but Malik Tillman has put Rangers 2-1 up. Furious scenes at Ibrox Stadium. But Rangers have the lead. And could it be crisis averted? Well, Partick Thistle are absolutely raging at how that transpired.
I think Partick Thistle are wanting to give the ball back to Rangers, so the ball was thrown into play so one of the Partick Thistle players could then knock it back to Alan McGregor, because Rangers had the ball and they knocked it out of play. You can see it there from Kevin Holt. He's not anticipating the pressure from Tillman. He's wanting to give the ball back. Sportsmanship he's thinking about, and Tillman takes it into his own hands. I think that's what Thistle are furious about. That's what Ian McCall is furious about. I think the goal will stand, but then it's what we're going after. You have to say, you can see what Kevin Holt is about. You can see why he's furious, because he is wanting to give the ball back, and Tillman has nicked it off him.
Well, a couple of yellow cards shown. Borna Barisic was one, Scott Tiffany the other. It is a heavy touch that comes from Holt. Through goes Tillman, finishes it really well, but
do you know what?
The goal will be awarded, there's no doubt about that.
Michael Beale is about to speak to James Tavernier. I think they're going to do the right thing, and they are going to allow Partick Thistle to go up the pitch and score. That's my initial reaction. It'll be interesting to see if there's that is the case, because Kevin Holt is not anticipating any pressure whatsoever. His head's down, he just wanted to knock the ball back, and suddenly the ball's in the back of the net. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from kick-off. I could be wrong, but it just Michael Beale spoke to James Tavernier.
Yeah, the next 30 seconds, so it's going to be very interesting. Indeed, we've seen this before. I can't remember that there was a game down in England where this happened, but between Holt and Tillman, tempers have certainly flared. It's certainly an interesting formation from Partick Thistle at the kick-off here.
It looks like they're going to go for a scrum. The rugby was yesterday. There you go.
Well, here goes Tiffany. He's going to run through on Alan McGregor, unchallenged. If he can beat the Rangers goalkeeper, eventually he does. It's 2-2 at Ibrox Stadium. Scott Tiffany levels things up again. It's highly controversial. Probably the right outcome in the end.
I think justice has been served, Roy, absolutely. You know, Malik Tillman, I get he's wanting to go and win the ball back, but Kevin Holt had no idea he was coming. And I think Michael Beale, incredible sportsmanship. It's easy just to ignore that. In the spirit of the game, I think the right decision has been made.
So Tiffany finishes it off. You've got to say well played to Michael Beale for allowing that.
It wasn't as well played by Alan McGregor. That's breaking his heart having to concede another goal, believe me. And there's the shake of hands as respect.
Well, as Bannigan and Tiffany come off, it's Ross Docherty and Aidan Fitzpatrick to go on. As you mentioned, the shake of the hands, there was one offered between Holt and Tillman that was not reciprocated. That's certainly livened things up, as if it needed it.
Sometimes moments in football just restores your faith in the game and sportsmanship, Rory, and huge credit to Michael Beale.
Here's Tillman. Great feet from Malik Tillman. Wonderful challenge as well. That comes in from McAvoy, who has hurt himself in doing so.
It was another last-ditch tackle. Malik Tillman, the last 10 minutes he's been in top form, barring the goal that he scored and caused all the ruckus, but McAvoy once again just sliding into the tackle, last ditch.
James Tavernier prepares to take the corner kick. It's all happening here at Ibrox, and the header is kept out by Snedden.
It's Ben Davis this time, isn't it? It's a long, deep ball into the box. It's a good header. There is an arm out. I just wonder, is that what they're looking at? Did it strike the arm of Aaron Muirhead? Game on.
So this time Barisic to swing it in from the other side. There's a claim in the middle from James Sands. Kent out to Barisic again. Now Roof. So Kemar Roof. Kent couldn't get it out of his feet other than to feed Tillman. And from Barisic, and well left by McAvoy. Well, they are just having a little VAR look at any potential hold in the ball into the box, but that has been looked and checked, and there's nothing more to add.
I think it's James Sands, is it? With McAvoy again. I mean, you really have to be careful when you're putting your arm around someone's neck and their shoulder. The way this game's been refereed this afternoon, then could easily be given.
McMillan couldn't get there, Barisic could. Muirhead away. Here's Tillman. And then comes Ross Doherty to try and pressurise Tavernier. Raskin. Away from Muirhead. Tavernier. Tillman feeds it into Cholak. Muirhead goes with him and times it well.
Yeah, you've got to applaud Rangers' attacking play at times, finding those little pockets of space and slide rule balls, but you've got to credit also the defending from Thistle, the willingness to make those tackles.
Tavernier. Isn't the best clearing header from Dowds. Back to Tavernier, this time is knocked away by Hodgson. Given away by Kamara. And on the break comes Turner. Dowds takes over. Now Fitzpatrick for Thistle. Couldn't help it through, and Raskin comes away with it for Rangers. Kent, miles off target from Ryan Kent.
Yeah, I think Glenn Kamara just got booked for that foul on Ross Doherty a couple of minutes ago, but yeah, Ryan Kent, that shot from distance. It's been a busy afternoon for David Munro and for the VAR officials. There's been lots going on. Who said the romance of the Scottish Cup and the meaningfulness of the Scottish Cup was gone? Absolutely not this afternoon between these two sides. Going toe to toe, it's been a great watch.
When we talk about that moment of sportsmanship, after Rangers did get the goal through Tillman, Michael Beale ordering his players not to challenge Scott Tiffany on the way through. Previously, something ordered by Marcelo Bielsa during his time at Leeds United against Aston Villa in 2019. Kent and Ross Docherty making the challenge. Kent stays down. Rangers go on through Tavernier. There's going to be drama of some sort between now and the end, but will it happen before the 90? Barisic heads down the line, gets the ball in. It was missed at the front post by Muirhead, but he got away with it. Nobody was gambling in behind. Tillman. And comes off Hodgson for another Rangers corner. And there was another yellow card there shown to Ross Docherty.
There's Aaron Muirhead, just missed time in the clearance. That's where you want your centre forward, just anticipating in behind defenders. That one time they miss it, you may get that simple tap in. Thistle get away with one.
As Docherty is hoping to face his brother-in-law Andy Stirling of Darvel in the next round if both teams can get through, but there's so much football to be played. Darvel will be up tomorrow night in their game against Falkirk after their heroics in round 4. Is there to be another major Scottish Cup shock here?
Well, Ross Docherty was just onto the pitch. Just it's a little bit missed time from him. He's probably not going to get the ball. Kent's just too quick and moves it on. You can see the pattern of the game now that the two Thistle centre forwards are starting to get a little bit isolated. Anton Dowds and Aidan Fitzpatrick on their own.
Will be time for Alfredo Morelos, but Jamie Snedden joins a good few of his teammates in David Munro's book for a bit of a spot of time wasting. Rangers now will make their change. Alfredo Morelos replaces Antonio Cholak. Rangers equalising goal scorer. Missed last season's Scottish Cup final due to injury. And Turner loses out. Here's Roof. Kent now. Nice pick out for Malik Tillman. Morelos gets his first touch. Tillman again. And Roof couldn't quite control it as it was wrapped into him. Kamara wins it back for Rangers. Sands, Tavernier, Tillman. That one will drift all the way through.
A little bit frustrated, Michael Beale. There's enough quality on that pitch for his side to go and break down the championship team. Tillman's been the heart of everything in the last 10 or 15 minutes. He really has. He's always looking for those little passes, tight spaces. He puts the ball in the areas that hurts the opposition. But now for Thistle, it's a big 8 or 9 minutes. Can they get themselves to extra time? Based on the play so far, I think they deserve to get there, but you don't always get what you deserve in football.
The last time they met in the Scottish Cup here, 2008, Partick Thistle did get a draw in the first game here. Damon Gray and Chris Boyd, the goal scorers. It was in the days of replays, and at Firhill, Rangers won 2-0 thanks to Nacho Novo and Chris Burke. Missed penalties from Simon Donnelly and Daniel Cusa. Out comes McAvoy to win that for Docherty. Dowds Goes for the return, but Davies wins it back. Tavernier, space to run into. Hodgson now looking to close that down. Up against former teammate and Tavernier. Raskin. Nice floated ball out to Barisic now to measure one into the middle, but again McAvoy protecting that front post area.
It's been a few times, I think, Barisic second half, Tavernier second half, they've hit the first man from cross balls, which has been a huge frustration for the Rangers fans. They've worked themselves into good areas. It's just that final ball into the box.
Borna Barisic delivers, and Rangers have got themselves in front again. That's a game that has had absolutely everything. And with 5 minutes to play, the holders do lead.
I think it looks like Jamie Sands. It looks like he's come in from behind everybody. It was actually off the shoulder of Conor McAvoy. That's where the own goal's coming from. There was enough pressure on the young man. He's had a good game, he's had a strong game. But because of the pressure on him, he couldn't get his head onto it. I think it caught his right shoulder and flew past Jamie Sneyd. And we didn't think this was going to end in a straightforward fashion. There was always going to be another layer to it. And Ian McCall said ahead of the game he was putting in big players to try and pose in a threat in the opposition box. With all those centre halves, he'd be disappointed that one of them hasn't made contact with the ball.
Dowds will chase. Will that be enough to finally settle what has been a remarkable game here at Ibrox? You forget, in amongst all the equalising controversy that made it, well, 2-1 and then 2-2, there was a missed penalty in there, or a saved penalty. Jamie Sneyd denying James Tavernier. Down goes Turner as Ryan Jack gets some instructions.
This tells you what Michael Beale thinks about it. He just wants to solidify that midfield area, make sure that Thistle have no way back into this game. I don't think anyone in their right mind thought the game would go this deep into the 90 minutes before it was settled, based on the form of Rangers and the form of Partick Thistle, so they've certainly surprised a few.
Kyle Turner takes, it's Morelos who gets the first connection. Holt back in, Tavernier away. Holt will again try to keep it alive and smashed clear by Davies. Thistle haven't had many opportunities to get the ball into the Rangers box in this second half. They had a good few in the first 45. Holt's still up there. Turner again. This time the cross blocked off. Muirhead. Now Milne. Is there to be another dramatic twist? Here's McMillan. Turner. And he couldn't get the cross right after doing well to win the ball back.
Yeah, he was just wanting to compose himself a bit and put it into a dangerous area, but you have to say his general play has been terrific.
So Nicolas Raskin will come off after making his first starts for Rangers this afternoon. You'll remember this one, all right. Ryan Jack comes on for the Belgian. And Partick Thistle make their change as well. Xander McKenzie comes on to replace Lee Hodgson. 17-year-old from Campbelltown.
Do they have one bit of quality left in them? They can get themselves back level. Or have Rangers done enough just to see it over the line? I think Michael Beale's substitution tells you he's quite happy for it just to get it over the line as it is.
Dowds holds it up. All the way through to McGregor, though. As the clock ticks to the 90, there's going to be a further 7 minutes. Muirhead finds Milne. And he can't pick the pass out for Mackenzie.
Yeah, I think the fact that Rangers are slowing the play down, they're not rushing their throw-ins, they're trying to take the sting out of the game. Chelsea, they know they've been in a battle this afternoon, they've had to rise to the occasion. Thistle have been so spirited, pushed them all the way, and still time left for an equaliser.
Down goes James Tavernier under Mackenzie's challenge. There's Tillman. Ryan Jack. About seeing out these final 6 minutes now without any worries or dramas for Rangers.
When you watch Thistle playing like this afternoon, it almost makes a mockery of the fact that they're sitting in 5th place in the Scottish Championship. That'll be the big frustration for Ian McCall and the supporters, that they know they've got this level of performance in them. 3 huge games coming up, haven't they? I think they've got Dundee, they've got Arbroath, they've got Ayr United, all in the next 3. So if they can replicate this performance this afternoon, they'll put themselves right back in the title mix.
All away from home as well, their next 3 games could make or break their promotion push. It does look like they won't be winning the title, but can certainly get themselves back in the playoff mix. But it's very, very congested in that middle area of the league table for them. We've got Morton on 34, Thistle 33, Wraith Rovers 33, Inverness 32. And it's all about cup involvement at the moment for these final minutes for Thistle. And they put on some showing in one of the toughest venues in the country. Turner up the line for Mackenzie. There's 3 in the box to hit. One coming in is Milne, and Tavernier is the one to step up and clear for Rangers.
It's great play by Thistle. Control, possession, working their way into the final third. Good defending though by Tavernier.
Muirhead forward, and he maybe should have left for Dowds, but Turner was so keen to get involved. Milne can't catch that. Just a bit of fatigue in the legs. They put so much into this, Thistle.
Just a good play, patient play, good run by Mackenzie. You can see what he's trying to do, miss everyone out. James Tavernier luckily has the instinct to peel to the edge of the box and clear what could have been a possible goal. And if it does stay as it is, then you know Thistle have given Rangers a real fright this afternoon. Dispelled the myth that it was just simply a case of turning up and winning the game. They've had to work, they've had to dig deep. Michael Beale's had to roll the dice and make the substitutions, bring on the big hitters to try and see this game out.
Still another 3 minutes to go of additional time. Morelos. Now Kamara. Barisic. And big slice comes from Muirhead. You know, as it looks likely, Rangers to see this out, and it continues the unbeaten record. It will be 12 wins from 13 for Michael Beale. But will there be a concern that in a number of those victories, yes, they've got over the line, but they've given teams a fair degree of hope late into games?
Well, if it stays as it is and they win by a single goal, I think it's the 8th time that's happened in his tenure. You know, so naturally he was brought in to stabilise results, get wins on the board again, but I think the fans anticipated a little bit more flair and style and a bit more comfort as they progressed. So you're right, there's a little bit of work to do.
Well, I'm sure, as you saw there, between Ian McCall and Michael Beale, they'll have a good chat to discuss everything that's gone on and is continuing to go on here at Ibrox Stadium. They're two men that know each other well from Michael Beale's first time up in Scotland as assistant to Stephen Gerrard. Michael Beale, Ian McCall rather, was one of the first to message him and congratulate him on getting the Rangers job.
Disappointed but proud, I imagine Ian McCall will be tonight. And many people feared it would be a 4 or 5-0 victory for the home side. This team have ran them ever so close.
Here's Milne. And Kevin Holt closing down Malik Tillman. That gets a big round of applause.
Yeah.
I don't know where that ever came from, that initially he was getting a bit of stick for not tracking back, but ever since then he's been absolutely magnificent in every game at it.
Clearly the message has got through.
Here is Tillman to finish it finally. Malik Tillman, great save by Snedden. Won't drop for Kent, but Thistle just can't get a hold of the ball to create that one last bit of drama that they need. McGregor being closed down, but he gets it away. Mackenzie, now or never for Partick Thistle. The 7 minutes have elapsed. Doherty clipped forward. Barisic is there. One more clearance will do it for Rangers. Crisis averted for the holders. A Scottish Cup tie that had the lot at Ibrox Stadium. And you have to credit Ian McCall and Partick Thistle for everything that they put into this game. A game that looked straightforward on paper, but it was anything but. The full-time score as Rangers go through to the quarter-finals is Rangers 3, Partick Thistle 2.